Hello everyone, I am Nilima Lakra and in this video we are going to look at CABE Committee on Universalization of Secondary Education. So without wasting any time, let's begin. So the CABE stands for Central Advisory Board of Education and it is the oldest and highest advisory body in India to advise the central and state government in the field of education. It was established in the year 1920 as a realization of the recommendation of the Calcutta University Commission in the year 1917 to 1919, but it dissolved in 1923 as a measures of economy. It was revived in 1935 and continued to exist till 1994. The pivotal role played by the CABE was recognized by the modified National Policy on Education in 1992. After being dissolved in 1994, it has been reconstituted by the government in July 2004 and the first meeting was held on 10 and 11 August 2004 accordingly. The CABE committee was set up in September 2004. This board consists of nominated members representing various interests in addition to elected members from Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. CABE give advice to government in following areas. First one, free and compulsory education bill and other issues related to elementary education. Second is girls' education and the common school system. Third, universalization of secondary education. Fourth is autonomy of higher education institutions. Fifth is integration of cultural education in the school curriculum. Sixth is regulatory mechanism for the textbook and parallel textbook taught in school outside the government system. And the last is financer of higher and technical education. So the main function of CABE committee are to review the process of education from time to time, to apprise context and manner in which the education policy has been implemented by the central and state government and to give appropriate advice in matter. To advise regarding coordination between the central and state government, union territory administration, state government and non-government agencies for educational development in accordance with the education policy. To give to advise so motto or on a reference made to it by the central government or union territory administration or any educational questions. Appoint committees as may be necessary for studying or making recommendations on diverse educational issues. Universalization of secondary education. Secondary education serves as a link between the elementary and higher education and play a very important role in this aspect, and it provides to the student of age group up to 14 to 18 years. High Power Committee of CABE on Universalization of Secondary Education set up by the MHRD Government of India in September 6, 2004. Sri Ghanshyam Tiwari, Minister of Education, Government of Rajasthan, was appointed as chairman of this committee. The aim of the committee was to prepare a blueprint for the universalization of secondary education consequent upon the attachment of universalization of elementary education. The committee shall be provided secretarial assistance by NCERT. The committee shall give its recommendation within 6 months from the date of its constitutions. The vision of CABE Committee on Universalization of Secondary Education are the achieving the goal to provide quality education to all adolescents, both girls and boys, up to the age of 16 by 2015, and senior secondary education up to the age of 18 by 2020. In populated areas, the secondary school must be built within 5 km, in the higher secondary school within 7 to 10 km. At the national level, the vision of secondary education is to make good quality education available, accessible and affordable to all young persons in the age group of 14 to 18 years. To ensure universal access of secondary education by 2017. The recommendations of CABE Committee on Universalization of Secondary Education are: the first is the guiding principles of universal secondary education should be universal access, quality and social justice, relevance and development, structural and curricular considerations. Second is the paradigm shift in the conceptualization of secondary education. Third is the norms should be developed for all schools in each state with common national parameter as well as state-specific parameters. Next is indicative should be national level projection of enrollment as well as requirement of teachers, classroom and finance. Next is SEMIS, that is secondary education management, should be developed as early as possible. Next is decentralized micro-level planning should be the main approach to planning and implementation of universal secondary education. Next, softer option of para-teachers should be avoided by the state, and instead of fully qualified teachers with full salary should be hired. Next, the present system of education system required drastic information and expansion as demand of qualified teachers is going to increases. Next, head of school must be trained, preferably through a 6-month diploma course with 3 months of practice and practical exercises. Next, immediate allocation of 6% of the GDP for education and progressive increases in this proportion will be necessary to move towards universalization of secondary education. Next is commercialization of school education as well as teacher education must be curbed, and all institutions have social responsibility in accordance to constitutional right of elementary education. The last one is investment towards the goal of universal secondary education must be made as early as possible, not later than 2006 to 2007, preferable at the secondary stage in the current financial year 2005 to 2006. The four guiding principles of creating the conceptual design of secondary education as visualized by this committee are represented under universal access, neat common core curriculum, integrated schooling facilities, vocational education and training, equality and social justice, relevance and development, structural and curricular aspects, insisting work education, attention for enrollment of child, lack of education for holistic development of the adolescents, innovative teaching and learning process, student assessment and evaluation, attention toward inclusive education, three language formula, insist guidance and counseling, offer common school system, necessity for curricular structure and course offering. Thank you for watching my video.